Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm back with another video here. So we're going to be looking at self-employment and how you can fill out forms at the end of the year for taxes. Now the cutoff is April 30th for self-employed um, businesses, self-employed individuals. As you can see, the form is T2125. And on that form, it asks you basic information. So all your identification questions are here. If we go further down, you'll see um, the activities that you have. So if there's you'll see in part two, it's usually not the case, but you can take a look at that. But the main thing I wanted to view in this video, just to give a sum up, is you're going to be looking at cost of goods sold and net income loss before adjustments. So in depending on what kind of business you have, let's say if you're carrying inventory, let's say you have clothing business where you're selling t-shirts or you're selling pants, whatever the case may be, or traditional wear. You'll see here that you'll have an opening inventory. And then your purchases during the year, direct wage costs, subcontracts, other costs will go into here, and you'll get a calculation of your closing inventory. And obviously the cost of goods sold minus that would give you your gross profit or loss for that particular case. If you're let's say you're delivering or you're doing another business where there's no inventory, then this part you would skip. And again, this part is also important. Where we're looking at net income, you're looking at all sorts of expenses, right? So the main reason you're self-employed is to basically write off a lot of your expenses so that you can reduce your revenue and have a lower net income. So first, I mean, there's a lot of expenses, but the main ones here that we see on the form is advertising, meals and entertainment will be 50%, bad debts, insurance, interest and bank charges, business tax, license memberships, office expenses, so office stationery and supplies, anything related to what your office is. If you're at home and you have a home office, then usually the minimum, I mean, usually sorry, not the minimum, but the amount usually taken into consideration would be 10% of your total surface area in your home. So that would be considered reasonable in order to deduct from, to include those in your expenses. Professional fees include lawyer fees, legal, accounting fees, those can be deducted. Management and admin fees, rent. Again, rent, let's see, your property tax, utilities, those would be 10% of, how big your office is. Usually it's 10% of your full space, depends where you're living. But yeah, and on property tax, it would be on the interest charged to you on the mortgage. And so, sorry, property tax would be your taxes that you get, but on the mortgage, you would actually be able to take 10% off of the interest that's charged to you. And so salaries, obviously, wages, benefits, that's all entered here as expenses. Utilities, let's see, you have electricity, hydro, whatever the case may be, internet, phone, heating, so that's 10%. Again, with that same consideration of how big your office is. If you have an office outside of the home, then that's different, right? You're going to be doing the full cost of those fuel costs. So if you have a vehicle for the business, depending on if it's a lease or a finance, there's different calculations for that. and another big cost is capital cost allowance. Yeah, so that's depreciation of the actual asset you have, or the assets you've purchased for the business. For example, a car's depreciation will be based on its cost. So if it's $30,000, it will be certain class. I believe it's 10.1. If it's less than 30,000, the vehicle, and it's used for business purposes solely, it would be considered under class 10, and so on. So you would have to take a look at the Income Tax Act of that year and check what the changes are. So after you're calculating your business revenue, income, gross business income minus your expenses, it'll give you your net income. And so that's how you would go about to calculate. There's a section here specifically for, like I was saying, business use of home expenses, heat, electricity, insurance, maintenance, mortgage interest, property taxes, all summed up in here. And yeah, here's your CCA table. Pretty straightforward. And you'll see that at the end, everything gets computed. And here's your motor vehicle expense situation, fuel, oil, interest, insurance, license registration, maintenance, repairs, leasing, electricity for zero emission vehicles, all in this section, chart A, to give you the calculation. So all in all, it is in detail here on the form. If you go through, Weld Simple or TurboTax or any of these other secondary websites, they're very simple and straightforward. I'll make sure I'll make a video about those as well. So keep an eye out, and I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you subscribe, like, and yeah, keep forwarding it, keep sharing this with everyone else. All right, take care, guys.